Please remain standing as I invite the Catholic chaplain to say the opening prayer.
Shall we pray? Our help is in the name of the Lord who made heaven and earth. Almighty and ever-living God, we are so much grateful to you for the gift of our lives. We thank you for this day, for this moment, and most of all, we thank you for making it possible for us to gather here for this Professorial Inaugural Lecture in this noble and prestigious university, the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, the home of quality education globally. We thank you for the leadership, management, staff, and students of this noble and prestigious university. We thank you for the protection, the guidance, having kept us safe and sound in mind and body to this day. It is our prayer that even as you use us to achieve greater heights in academia, continue to grant us all the knowledge, the wisdom, the intelligence, strength, and favors, the peace of mind and body that we need to continue to offer quality formation and education for young adults, for themselves, their families, their communities, our dear nation, Ghana, and the entire world. We thank you for the safe arrival of all our guests and for making it for us to have this inaugural lecture under the theme, International Business, Why Care for Africa. Grant us a listening ear and a docile heart to enjoy this unique moment of life. We thank you for the gift and life of our dear and gallant Professor Nathaniel Boso. We thank you for all the graces and effort into his academic journey and for how far you have brought him. We thank you for many years of hard work and dedicated research. As we celebrate his achievement today, we thank you for all the support, the provision, protection, care, in cash and in kind, from family, friends, and loved ones and sponsors, and for helping reach thus far. We also thank you for all the effort that have gone into making this inaugural lecture a reality. As we bless your name for our dear professor and for all that you've used him to accomplish in the life of this great university and in the life of humanity, it is our prayer that you continue to use him to grant this gathering an inspiring and thought-provoking reflection. We entrust all our stakeholders, friends, sponsors, friends, and developing partners, and all those who love and care for us and support and sustain us to make us the #1 destination of quality education. Bless them for their favors and their contribution towards our university. Bless this gathering and help us as you grant us these inspirational talks. These are many blessings we ask through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Please be seated. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Vice Chancellor chairing this occasion, I welcome all of you to the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Kumasi's Great Hall. This afternoon, one of our distinguished personalities, having attained the rank of a professor, delivers his Professorial Inaugural Lecture. Professor Nathaniel Boso, an international marketing and strategy professor at the Department of Marketing and Corporate Strategy, KNUST, and the Center Director for the Center for Applied Research and Innovation in Supply Chain Africa, CARISCA, delivers his Professorial Inaugural Lecture on the topic, International Business, Why Care About Africa. It promises to be exciting, but to tell us about the significance of this inaugural lecture, and on behalf of the registrar, I invite the Deputy Registrar of the Human Resources Division, Mr. Yao Owusu Asamoah. Shall we please applaud him?
Madam Chair, permit me to say a few things about the significance of inaugural lectures. Inaugural lectures, Madam Chair, offer a rare opportunity for newly appointed professors to introduce themselves and to present an overview of their contribution to their chosen discipline before academic colleague and research collaborator. The lectures also serve as a platform for celebrating academic prowess of newly appointed professors with their families, friends, mentors, and colleagues. The Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Kumasi, in keeping with best practices in academia, has made inaugural lectures a cardinal part of its academic life and experience. As an institution of higher learning, Madam Chair, with the responsibility of solving societal problems, inaugural lectures again provide us the opportunity to showcase what has been done in terms of groundbreaking research to support national and international development. Madam Chair, with your permission, I will want to mention some of the professors who have delivered their inaugural lectures in the university. They include Professor Dr. George Rekumbrobe, the late Professor Kwesi Akwansa Andam, Professor Emeritus Kashosen, Professor Emeritus Kwesi Kwafu Adakwa, Professor Francis Boachi, the late Professor Emeritus Anthony Apeke Adimado, Professor Raphael Kasim Kasanga, Professor Dr. Daniel Obuo, Professor Mrs. Victoria Per Jogbofia, Professor Richard Tunye Awua, Professor Robert Kwame Nkum, Professor Abuaji Menye, Professor Charles Kwame Kankam, Professor Richard Akroma, Professor William Otuo Ellis, Professor Robert Clement Abedu, Professor Christian Ejari, Professor Divan Kweku Ahaji, Professor Michael Poku Buansi, Professor Leonard Kofiche Amekuji, and Professor Atinuke Olushola Adibanji. Madam Chair, ladies and gentlemen, in keeping with the tradition, the university is privileged once again to witness another inaugural lecture to be delivered by one of its distinguished professors. Madam Chair, thank you.
The last time we gathered here for the Professorial Inaugural Lecture, Professor Atinuke Olushola Adebanji delivered hers. Today, in her capacity as the chairperson for the Public Lecture Committee, please welcome her to introduce our chairperson.
Madam Chair, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to read the abridged profile of our Vice Chancellor, who is going to chair this august occasion for us. Our chairperson, Professor Mrs. Rita Akusia Dixon, is the Vice Chancellor of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, KNUST in Kumasi. Professor Dixon is an alumna that KNUST is very proud of. She is the first female to serve as the Vice Chancellor of this university. Prior to her appointment as the Vice Chancellor and investiture on the 1st of August 2020, she had served as the 21st Pro-Vice Chancellor of KNUST. And following her election to the office in September 2018, she is also the first female to have occupied the position of the Pro-Vice Chancellor at KNUST. And before she was appointed as Pro-Vice Chancellor in 2018, she was the Dean of the Faculty of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences at the College of Health Science. Professor Rita Dixon graduated from KNUST with a bachelor's degree in pharmacy in 1994, and she acquired an MPharm at the same university in pharmacognosy in 1999. In 2003, she was awarded a Commonwealth Scholarship to study for a PhD degree at King's College, the University of London, where she specialized as a phytochemist. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as an accomplished phytochemist whose research covers natural products with anti-infective, wound-healing, anti-inflammatory, antipyretic, and anti-diabetic properties based on their ethnopharmacological usage in the treatment and management of communicable and non-communicable diseases, Professor Dixon has distinguished herself. Her scientific knowledge and research expertise have impacted the international scientific community through training, mentorship, and scientific appraisals. She is very visible on renowned academic platforms with a research impact of over 26,000 article rates and more than 700 citations in various scientific disciplines. To further mention a few additional accomplishments of our chairperson, Professor Rita Dixon is a fellow and a board member of the Pharmacy Council and Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana. She is a fellow of the Ghana College of Pharmacists. She is also a member of the Commonwealth Pharmacists Association. Professor Dixon is also the president's appointee to the governing board of the National Vaccine Institute in Ghana, and she currently chairs the Committee of Vice Chancellors in Ghana. She deserves a round of applause for this accomplishment. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Professor Rita Dixon is passionate about demystifying STEM programs for girls and training the youth into global transformational leaders through talks and other engagements. She has further demonstrated this passion through a flagship program, the Chancellor program. The Chancellor program was instituted to promote digital literacy among needy students in KNUST. The program so far has given new laptops to more than 2,000 needy students since its inception. Our KNUST continues to solicit your generous contribution to this laudable Chancellor project. Our chairperson is married with 4 beautiful daughters. She is a devout Christian and serves as a deaconess and a marriage counselor at the Grace Baptist Church in Kumasi. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our chairperson, Professor Mrs. Rita Akosia Dixon, who will be presenting the speaker. A round of applause for Madam. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Professor Adebanji. I almost was going to think that I'm the one coming to give the inaugural lecture myself, but it's not me. Past Vice Chancellors and Pro-Vice Chancellors. Pro-Vice Chancellor, Registrar, our distinguished lecturer, Professor Nathaniel Boso, Provost of Colleges, Deans and Directors, heads of departments, members of convocation, senior and junior staff of our great university, Reverend Ministers, Nananum, captains of industry, family, and friends of our distinguished lecturer, proud alumni of the university, my dear students, our friends from the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you all. I am indeed excited to preside over our second inaugural lecture for this year, to be delivered by one of our esteemed scholars. In this lecture, our eminent professor will enlighten us on why anyone should care about Africa in international business at all, as he dissects the topic, international business, why care about Africa. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, international business is vital in shaping the Africa market and businesses and the world at large due to its uniqueness in terms of size and the varied opportunities it offers. Despite all the challenges the continent of Africa has, it is seen as a continent that the globe must watch. Why and how is that, you ask? Don't worry at all. You will soon know. Our distinguished professor will see to that. Our scholar will break it all down for us this evening as he walks us through the strides African markets are making in international business. As an institution that attaches so much importance to inaugural lectures, we are grateful to our esteemed lecturer, Professor Nathaniel Boso, for being one of the treasured contributors to this series of lectures. Does he deserve a round of applause, please? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I assure you this evening's lecture will be an interesting and inspiring one, as our distinguished scholar highlights the reasons why the African environment is vital in shaping and enriching knowledge and development in international business. I admonish all of us to simply relax and enjoy the ride. Most certainly, today's lecture is truly a great opportunity to celebrate an eminent faculty member of our great and noble university, whose contributions to research in international business is indeed very, very outstanding. His knowledge and inputs in international business, both locally and on the international front, has shaped and established him as an expert and a renowned scholar in this field. His research, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, has yielded valuable insights in the subject matter and continues to enrich the discourse in this area, both locally and globally. We say Aiko to you, Professor Nathaniel Boso. Aiko for these many, many achievements. Thank you. KNUST is indeed excited about how far you have come and is extremely, extremely proud and honored about all the successes you have chalked. The Department of Marketing and Corporate Strategy, KNUST School of Business, and the College of Humanities and Social Sciences. Indeed, the entire KNUST family, together with your cherished family and friends, are overexcited in celebrating you today. The lecture this evening will focus, among others, on exploring the African context in international business. Prof. Boso will enlighten us on the quality of academic research as well as funding for research innovation in this area. Our lecturer will also go ahead and lay emphasis on international trade and scholarly inputs in international business and situate them within the African environment. Our esteemed lecturer will share a piece of his life with us as he enlightens us further on why the African continent, with its unique and extreme empirical setting, enriches the development of international business knowledge. He will finally outline the various policy recommendations that have been put together to aid higher education in this area. Now I go on to give a very brief profile of him. Please help yourself to the elaborate version of all that I will be saying. Professor Nathaniel Boso was born in Cape Coast to Mr. Emmanuel Frank Boso and Madame Mercy Ajua Adoshi. He had his basic education at the AME Zion Primary and St. Anthony Primary School, and then back to AME Zion Junior High for his junior high school education. He then proceeded to St. Augustine's College for his senior high school education. Prior to attaining his bachelor's degree in business administration from University of Ghana Business School, Prof. Boso enrolled at the Accra College of Education and graduated with a post-secondary teacher education certificate. After his national service in 2003, he enrolled at the Umeå University in Sweden for his Master of Science degree in industrial marketing. He had his doctorate studies at the Loughborough University and graduated in 2011 with a PhD in international marketing and entrepreneurship. He is also a chartered marketer with Chartered Institute of Marketing UK. You are sitting down, you are not clapping. It's not that simple, you know. Thank you. Clap for him. Clap for him. Prof. Nathaniel Boso has worked in various companies and institutions spanning from his teaching days at Obosonu Junior High School near Nsawam to being a key accounts manager during his national service days. He also worked as a senior sales consultant at MFI Company Limited in Nottingham in the United Kingdom. He worked as a research associate in Loughborough University prior to his appointment as a lecturer in the University of Leeds, UK. He was promoted to senior lecturer in 2013, associate professor in 2015, and in 2017, Professor Boso joined KNUST as an associate professor in the Department of Marketing and Corporate Strategy, and was promoted to the rank of full professor in 2021. Thank you, thank you. Of course, he was appointed Dean of KNUST School of Business until 2023. Currently, he is the director of the Center for Applied Research and Innovation in Supply Chain Africa, that is the CARISCA project. Professor Boso has been involved in the design and teaching of several undergraduate and postgraduate programs and has numerous, and I mean numerous, scientific publications to his credit. Thank you. Thank you. He's a member of so many bodies, and this includes the American Marketing Association, Academy of International Business, the Session Science Institute, and Academy of Marketing Science. The list is very long. I'm just cutting it short. So clap. Prof. Boso is married to Dr. Patience Akubruz, an alumnus of KNUST, and they are blessed with a beautiful daughter, Michelle Fafa Boso. Thank you. Of course, he has a lot of children, and again, the list is quite long. As I said, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, for a more elaborate version, visit our website and also the brochure that we have given to you. And this is where I'm going to need your help. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, with a standing ovation. And a big round of applause. Please help me welcome Professor Nathaniel Boso.
Hello? Professor Chair, I think you should be a marketer. Yeah? Maybe we should set up a company so that you be the marketer, I'll be the operations manager. Anyway, thank you so much for your beautiful and eloquent introduction. I was so humbled to hear you say all those great things about me. You know, while you were growing, Emeritus Archbishop Nketia, we used to call him Father Nketia. He used to tell us why we should say so little things about ourselves and allow the Lord to take over the rest. Father, let me call you Father Nketia. That's what you used to call you. Okay. So, Vice Chancellor, Pro-Vice Chancellor, Registrar, Finance Officer, Archbishop Emeritus of Cape Coast, Most Reverend Matthew Nketia, Minority Leader in Parliament, Honorable Dr. Kesatu Forsen, joining us virtually. You know he was one of my students, eh? Yes. Representative from the South African High Commission in Ghana, joining us virtually. Representative from Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology, and Innovation, who I think they are here present today. A representative from the USAID Ghana Mission, Provost of College of Humanity and Social Science, and Provost of other colleges, Director of School of Graduate Studies, Deans of KNUST-TEK School of Business, and other Deans and Directors, my Head of Department of Marketing and Corporate Strategy, and other department heads, members of Convocation, Nananum, past Vice Chancellors and Pro-Vice Chancellors of KNUST-TEK, Chairperson and members of the Inaugural Lecture Committee, alumni of KNUST School of Business, Kariska and Ora Tambo team members and partners, deans and staff of Strathmore University Business School, deans and staff of University of Ghana Business School joining virtually, members of Business and Development and Entrepreneurship Committee of Social Democratic Policy Lab, who are joining us in person and virtually, the parish priest of St. Francis de Sales Cathedral, Cape Coast, the principal and staff of Accra College of Education, the headmaster and staff of St. Augustine's College, the representatives of St. Augustine's College Old Student Association, representatives of St. Augustine's 1994 year group, the SRC president, and representative students from St. Augustine's College. Absu. The head teacher and staff of Cape Coast AME Zion School, and my former PhD supervisor, Professor John Cadogan and Vicky Story, who are joining us virtually today, my current and former research students, senior staff, and junior staff of KNUST, my lovely family members and friends here present and those joining virtually, friends from the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I feel really privileged and honored to be standing here today to deliver an inaugural lecture at Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. I'm really very grateful to be presented here today. It's been a long journey, but I think I should be grateful for the honor given me today. When I was asked by Professor Adibanje to come and give this lecture, one thing that struck my mind was, do you think I can speak to this diverse group of people here to understand the language of international business? And then I have this friend of mine, he's a biologist, Professor Abedu, I think he's here. I was wondering, can he understand international business? And then he told me, what about your Vice Chancellor? She's a pharmacist, can he understand international business? But then the issue of Nananum came, and I told him, I think Nananum are smarter than professors, because these are people who really deal with serious problems. But what we need to care about is that there is no cause of alarm. I think by the time I'm done, we should appreciate why Africa matters and what we should do to make sure Africa matters at the international business and trade arena. So, ladies and gentlemen, please sit down, relax, and enjoy the ride. I'm sure by the time you are done, you will appreciate the fact that Africa should matter and what we should do to make sure that Africa does matter in international business and trade. So, Prof. Chair, with your permission, I would like to follow this outline. I will give you a brief overview of my academic journey, and then I go to the topic of the day. Why should anybody care about Africa when we talk about international business? And I proceed to offer policy recommendation. And I would like to tell you that my supervisors told me yesterday I should try to be controversial, even if your Vice Chancellor doesn't like it. Yeah. So, Prof. Chair, with your permission, I will try to be a little bit controversial when it comes to policy recommendations. Thank you. But then I will offer some takeaways and conclusion and appreciation for people who have played different roles in my life, particularly my academic life. So, Prof. Chair, what I want to achieve today is simple. I want to be able to demonstrate to you that when we commit our life and energy to advance quality research about Africa, particularly African businesses, we should be able to put Africa on that map of international business and trade. It's not about we seeking for sympathy. It's not about we looking for aid. It's about what can we tell the rest of the world that Africa is capable of doing. And I believe, with my life so far for the past 2 decades, I believe if we can do that, the rest of the world will care. They will have no option but to stand and listen when a story is told about African businesses. So before that, let me introduce you to international business. What is it? At the basic level, it refers to the extent to which businesses trade in goods and services, capital, knowledge, and technologies across national borders. So when I was growing, so these are some of the international businesses you can see. What do you see? There is something interesting that you can see. NAN is Ghanaian, right? MTN is South African. But you know, whenever we talk about Africa, South Africa is excused. All right? So, these are the people who play international game. Not people like me, what I used to do in my childhood, trading in yams and corn and dry fish across Ghana and Togo border. That is the lowest form of international business. You know? But for people like us doing research in international business, we are interested in the behavior and successes of businesses of all kinds. So far as they operate across national borders, we classify them as international businesses. So you can think about exporters, importers, transnational companies, and multinational corporations. So, whatever I'm asked to talk about my academic journey, international business, I always start by laughing because you imagine what went in my life. So, as I was just saying, I started this life journey in a small village called Penny on the Ghana-Togo border, trading in basic commodities, yam. I mean, you know what businesses do in Ghana, right? It's about trading in basic commodities. But then I was also involved in trading in currency for my uncle between Togo and Ghana border. I don't know, maybe some of you don't know my background well. I'm from multiple ethnic background, ranging from Ghana to Togo to Nigeria. So Professor Dipanje. Yeah. But an important thing that has to be said is that when I started my basic education in AME in Cape Coast, then I was taken to the Penny border with Togo. Yeah, we were doing a lot of things. Education was not part of my business. I was just not interested in education. And then, I will tell you in a moment what happened. So, in 1995, when we were in the house, you know what happened in 1995, right? Universities were, UTAC was in a year-long strike. So we were all in the house trying to figure out what we could do with our life. And then, this is where things could have gone wrong. Because we were just in the house doing nothing. And then, my stepmother told me that, you see, you cannot be in a house like that. So we need to do something about this. And then she said, can you go and see Father Nketia at the cathedral to give you money to buy a form to go to training college? And I was like, training college? To become what? Teacher? No. But ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guys, my stepmother is here today. Where is she? So, the two of us, we plotted to deal with Father Nketia. Yeah. But the beautiful thing he did was that when I approached him, my friend Nado and John, when we approached him, you know what he told? He didn't say anything. He said, Abrant here. Hey, no. And I said, oh, I need 12 CDs, 50 pesos to buy form to go to school. I don't know whether he remembers that story. He didn't say anything. He just went into his kitchen, came back, and gave me the money. And I was telling him, Father, I'll pay this money back. And I said, hey, Abrant here, run like a rabbit and go and buy the phone. You know? So this were beautiful people who made so much impact in my life when I was growing up. So then I completed training college. I ended up in University of Ghana, then proceeded to Umbi University, and eventually to Loughborough University, where I began my journey to become an academic. But that was never my interest. I need to be honest about that. I wanted to become a businessman. But if you ask, why did I want to become a businessman? Because when I was growing, I never saw any teacher, academic, who had a good house, who had a good car. So, Prof. Chair, it was a real journey. I was wondering, why should I be a teacher? To be like my father, who abandoned teaching to go to judicial service. It was never my interest. But I will tell you how I changed. So, as I said, my stepmother came in to take me back to Cape Coast to go to school. And then my wife, Patience, who is also there, maybe you want to give her a round of applause. She also did a fantastic job. So the two of us, we were in Nottingham trying to figure out what life was about. And then she told me, maybe the way you like doing argument, you should go to do something academic. And then my friend Osa agreed. I can remember his words. I said, Master, this is your life. I think it's the academic life. So, but these are great people really shaped my decision to move from my desire to become a businessman to become a business academic researcher. But then that journey also involved me learning from my Catholic background how to be humble and kind. Because I used to remember this Catholic reading that I got from one of my Catholic readings, that simplicity and ordinary lives make valuable contributors to human life. So when I started my academic life, it was therefore not anymore my desire to make money as a business person, but to make sure that whatever I do make valuable contribution to the human society. And then, I think that lesson I learned from my Catholic background is very valuable. That we should not pursue our lives for our selfish interests, but to advance the well-being of the human society. That has always been what shaped everything I do. So I met these great guys, my PhD supervisors in Loughborough University. They taught me something simple. The last sentence at the bottom there. Their lifestyle persuaded me to believe that in the richness of academic life, we can really become rich people in our mind, not in our pocket. They made me believe that it is better to be rich in your head and mind than to be rich in your pocket. You can't believe what was going on in my head when they said that. So, this is something that was also difficult for me to take. Our education in Ghana is rote learning. Memorize, go and chew and pour, and pass and go away. Then I met these two people. They said, everything you put on paper, every line, must make sense. And I remember Vicky, the female professor, once told me that, Nat, can you do me a favor? Just stop thinking Infante and start thinking in English. Because it's not going to help you with your writing. So she got me to understand that anytime I'm writing, I must write with a mindset that I'm trying to influence the world, not just my local community. Yes, your local community is important, but whatever is happening in your local community, make sure you write about it in such a way that when anybody sitting in Guatemala reads about your local community, it can affect their lives. Prof, you know, that is difficult. How do I write a story about businesses at KJTIA such that a business in Johannesburg can learn from it? That did not make sense to me. But that was what they expected from me. And I think that lesson they taught me has gone a long way to change my contribution to academic research. So my academic journey progressed in this direction. But I would like to emphasize the fourth point. My associate professorship at KNUST in 2017. I think Patience, my wife, will remember. When I told her one morning that I was going to KNUST, he was like, "Are you okay? What is going on?" And so I've decided that I'm moving to Ghana to go to KNUST. And he said, "Okay, if you say so." And then my friend, Professor Deborah, some of you know him, heard about it, and he called me and said, "Nat, what is it that I'm hearing? You are going to Ghana. Have you told your wife?" I said, "I did." "And what did he say?" She said, "Oh." I said, "She said she's okay." And he said, "I don't think so." The reason why he was saying that was because I had just been offered a full professorship at a university in the UK and Sweden, and he wrote the reference for me. And I said I was not going to accept the position, but I'm going to Ghana. He didn't believe it. But, Prof. Chair, you see, there are certain times in our lives that you have to make a choice. Do you want to make a choice to make a meaningful contribution to society, or simply want title for yourself? And I chose the path that I wanted to come to KNUST to make a difference. And this is where I also think when people show you gratitude, when people show you goodness, you must also show gratitude. When I came to KNUST in 2017, at the staff, what do you call that place? 4-star. Is it 4 Square or something? Yeah. 4-star. And Michelle came to Ghana in December, and she could see lizards and things in the house. War gecko. You know, she was sitting on the table to eat. So now to the real topic of why we are here today. So my academic life, like I said, began with my desire to become a commodity trader. But then I went to do masters in Sweden. My thesis time, my supervisor said, "Don't talk about businesses about Africa, from Africa. There's none. So pick a Swedish company and study that." Then I went to do my PhD. Again, don't talk about businesses from Africa. There's none. But why? I keep asking, why are you people saying that? And I remember John will say, there's no business in Africa that is important because they are so small. We are talking about international business, okay? Don't talk about Africa. So I obeyed because I wanted a PhD. But when I finished my PhD, Prof. Chair, I decided to refocus my research attention to Africa. And I was doing that with a background that Africa contributed less than 3% to global trade. Less than 3%. And still is less than 3%. The continent contribution to research, global research and innovation is less than 1%. And it's still less than 1%. Now, you take academic research published in top-tier journals in area of business and management, Africa is hardly mentioned. Now, you look at papers submitted for publication in top-tier journals, as far as business research is concerned, there's a problem of quality, and it continues to be the case. So, with my mindset that I want to improve quality of research, I want to make an impact. I just wanted Africa to matter. That when at the international business and trade arena, discussions are had, Africa should be mentioned. I chose to contribute to that narrative. And so, taking that decision means that I have to answer difficult questions. When people ask me, why should anybody care about Africa international business research? What would be my answer? When people ask, is it worth discussing Africa businesses at all? What would be my answer? Because, ladies and gentlemen, whether you like it or not, today, can you mention a name of a business started in Africa, outside South Africa? Can you mention one business that has impacted the human society? Can you mention one? You can't. Maybe Dangote is South African, intra-Africa. It hasn't gone beyond Africa. Maybe M-Pesa, the Kenyan financial services company. Maybe, but to what extent? So, a major question that I have to answer in many of my research is, are African businesses doing something unique, interesting that the rest of the world should learn from? If you can identify any major African business, are they doing something that the rest of the world can learn from? That has been the question I had to answer. Prof. J, I was trying to answer those questions against the backdrop of what you see. This is what everybody was talking about in 2016-17, those days when I was trying to go into African context research. The world knew Africa as one country. But we know you have 54 countries, right? But if you go to America right now, talk to a typical American, they will tell you Africa is a country. Meaning they think Ghana is just a county in Africa. Go to America, talk about anything positive about African food, they will tell you, no, you guys, you only eat bushmeat, come on. That's what they will tell you. Mention school children, they will say, they study at a tree. I remember I sent my daughter Michelle back to UK to study, and one teacher tried that game to sarcastically ask whether she was studying under trees. And I said no. But ladies and gentlemen, whether we like it or not, that's the prejudice that existed and continue to exist about Africa. Are we going to allow that to continue? The only thing we can do is to write well about Africa. So here are the other realities about Africa. The World Health Organization described Africa as a sick continent. That is a fact in their report. The World Bank described Africa in 2021 as the poorest continent in the world. I don't think they will change their opinion today. The Global Peace Index described Africa as the most dangerous places in the world. And as for corruption, we all know. So, Prof. Chair, in 2004, Tony Blair, with that background, said that Africa is a scar on the conscience of the world. You see what the rest of the world thinks about us? We are a scar on the conscience of the world. When the rest of the world looks around and see Africa, Tony Blair thinks they should be ashamed. But 11 years later, the same person said Africa is the most exciting continent on the planet. The same person. What has happened after 10 years? Prof. Chair, so when I listened to what he said, I asked myself in 2016 that if indeed Africa is the most exciting continent on the planet, then what should be the focus of my academic research? So I decided that I want to answer that question, that there is something interesting about Africa. Should I continue talking about the things that the rest of the world say I should talk about? Poverty, famine, diseases and health problems, corruption, social exclusion, drought, people dying out of whatever. Those issues are still relevant. We should be researching them. But as far as I'm concerned, that is feeding into colonial mindset about Africa. So I asked myself, can I do something different, something more positive? So I decided that what is it that can come out of Africa? So that is a paper I authored with my colleague John Sebe and a colleague in Arizona, Goki, where we try to answer a question. What does Africa bring to the table? I'm talking about international business and trade. What do we bring to the table? Do we have anything useful to talk about? Do we have anything exciting? Anything interesting that the rest of the world can learn from? Or we are going to be talking about poverty, famine, diseases? I thought African businesses had something to offer. Now, when I started that journey, I knew what the rest of the world was thinking. So I approached a leading scholar of a top American journal. I asked him a simple question. Will you publish a paper about businesses in Africa? And his response, as I expected, was simple. It depends on whether anything useful will come from there. That is an editor where you will send your work to publish. He says, it depends, meaning you send your work there, he's going to give you a higher bar to clear. So, when I started this journey, I made it clear in my mind that, and with all the people I work with in KNUST and across Africa, that we have to start looking for something useful and interesting about African businesses. And we should be able to tell that story in a way that can measure to the highest standard and be able to publish in the best journals. Because my mind was that if I can do that, if we can do that, the rest of the world has no option but to read and consume it. And if they do, Africa will matter. Thank you for that. So when I came to KNUST in 2017, I had in my mind one thing, that the higher the quality of academic research about African businesses, the higher the likelihood that that research will be consumed. And I wanted to prove my boss at the University of Leeds, who deleted my number when I told him I was moving to KNUST. I wanted to prove to him that it can be done. And I will tell you what he said, I think last year, when Pat and I we were in Miami for a conference. We met him, my former boss, and he said, I was not expecting to see you here. That was after 6 years of leaving Leeds. Because he read the work we did at KNUST. That was published in the highest ranked journal in international business. So, Prof. Chair, I just wanted to lead my team to prove to the world that high quality research can come from African university. And we delivered that. So the rest of the papers I'm going to present now is simply trying to demonstrate that the benefit of research from Africa must be articulated forcefully and be published in the very best scholarly outlets. There is no rush. We just need to commit our life to get that done. So, what about African businesses? I want to use 4 of my papers to demonstrate that. I know, as you said, Prof. Chair, I'll publish several papers, with several citations, but 4 of them are the ones that I'm really proud about. The rest, it's okay. So, one of my 4 papers try to demonstrate why the Africa context matters. This is a continent with 1.4 billion people. In the 1980s and 70s, China was almost 1 billion people, right? And the rest of the world was moving to China. Everything made in China. Now, today, Africa has 1.4 billion people. That, in my mind, is a demographic dividend. We can leverage it to our advantage. Yet, this is also a continent that is also complex and interconnected with so much sociocultural complexities. We are the only continent in the world that has extreme condition of turbulence and a high probability of businesses failing. There's no other continent like that. If you look at the statistics, the higher business failures in here. We are also the people who are classified when we talk as the manifestation of diversity. Think about our language. We have over 2,000 languages in Africa. How do you do business in that environment? Our ethnicity, our religion, our countries, 54. And I think that condition provides a unique setting for innovative solutions. How does innovation occur? In a stable environment? No. Innovations are better value in complex, turbulent, and dynamic environments. That is characteristic of Africa. And I think we can tell the rest of the world how business can be done in such an environment. So, my first paper, whilst in KNUST, tried to draw on this background of Africa. But one of the things that we noticed was that our environment is poorly understood. And it's for a good reason. If you don't do research about your environment, do you think anybody will know about that environment? the only thing they can do is prejudice. So, going through KNUST, different markets, centers in Ghana, from Aflao border to Elubu border to different communities in Ghana, I came to the conclusion that international business managers serving in multicultural society can learn something from Africa's sociocultural complexity to succeed. So if you are a business manager in whatever part of the world, how do you succeed in complex sociocultural societies? That answer, I argued in our study, can only be found in our part of the world. So, look at this. Doing business in Africa, you've got to deal with multiple political actors. All these people you see, they are all politicians to some degree. If you say somebody's a politician, it's not a negative word that we should be worried about. What is politics? It's pursuit of personal interest. Yeah. So in my mind, there's nothing wrong with politics. It's fine. So activists, local opinion leaders, they are pursuing their interests. Religious leaders, they are pursuing their religious interests. Our elected leaders, they are pursuing their political interests. What about our chiefs and queens and kings? They are trying to pursue the interests of their customs and traditions. What about military juntas and those people who take over power? They are all pursuing interests. So you are an international business. You are a Ghanaian business trying to do business across national borders in Africa. What do? Complain about these sociocultural institutional actors? No. It is not good to be complaining. What we found was that there is good thing to get if you are able to build relationship with these different actors. So our research question was, how do businesses navigate the complex and increasingly interconnected and precarious means weak institutional environment in Africa? It's in simple way. Put it simply, how do you succeed in such an environment? So our first study, which was based on the study of multinational enterprises in Ghana who have to deal with counterfeit and pirated goods at Ghana's borders. I'm sure most of us, we have consumed pirated goods before, right? At least you have bought a CD that was not original before. So businesses have to deal with that. And one lesson that we learned from that study was that to succeed in Africa, you need cross-cultural intelligence. You need to be capable of dealing with multiple cultural institutions at the same time. And how do you do that? You've got to build a coalition of partners involving these multiple actors. So you want to deal with government officials in Ghana, you must at the same time be prepared to deal with chiefs and kings in Ghana. You must also be prepared to deal with religious leaders, because these actors have different resources that can benefit you as a business. Professor, that research was nominated for the Best Phenomenon-Based Research Award. That was by Journal of World Business. It's the second highest ranked journal in the field of international business. But then we took that study further to study 604 subsidiaries in 23 Anglophone countries in Africa. And when I presented this study 2 times, and the last one I presented was in a conference in Miami in the US, and one dean of a business school asked me, where did you get the money to do that research? So look at it, 605 companies in 23 African countries. That study started as a PhD work of one of my students at KNUST here. And so I have to be grateful to South African National Research Foundation for their financial support for this research. So, Prof. Chair, this research, I must confess, is my highest achievement. Because it was published in the highest ranked journal in international business. And when it was published 3 months later, I was invited to join the journal editorial board as a consulting editor on Africa. And I think with that, with the support of KNUST and colleagues at the School of Business, we were able to achieve this award. So the second lesson that we got from this research was that to succeed in Africa, businesses must develop the capability to deal with multiple institutional actors simultaneously, because resources, we call it political resources, social resources, moral resources that you extract from these actors are good in helping you to succeed in this environment. Prof, there's something else about Africa, the coexistence of informal and formal businesses. Ghana Statistical Service tells us that about 70% of businesses in Ghana are informal. You know what that means? They don't pay tax. They are not registered. You find them in market centers like KJTF, Abosokai, and those places. Together, they constitute about 70% of businesses in Ghana. Yet, at the same time, you also have formal businesses, and they deal with each other. So the question is, how possible could that be? So we know Africa, we don't invest in research and innovation, right? We spend less than 1% of our GDP on research and innovation. So how do you understand the structure of your economy? Is your economy a formal business environment or informal? We hardly know anything about that. So, in trying to understand this environment, one of the things that we came to understand was the headline you see there. That is a comment by one business leader in Ghana who told me that the African business environment is simply tough. Because this is an environment that the likelihood of failure is so high, yet you can't fail in this environment. Look at how that child looks scared. You know, Prof, do you know what is going on in the head of that child? Let's calm down and reflect on that picture and the implication of what is going on in the head of that child. He is scared to death. Do you think that child can ever dare to take risk, to fail? He dares not. And therefore, he will never try. So, that is the business environment we find ourselves. Most of our business leaders grew up with that kind of mindset. So, I think this environment offers a unique empirical setting for developing and testing some of the most innovative solutions in the world. You want to teach a child how to take risk, how to overcome fear of failure, you got to come to Africa. Yeah, you have to come to Africa. Prof, there's something else connected to this that I learned from my supervisors. It was very interesting. Do you think that I have the guts to question you, criticize you publicly? I can't, because that's our culture. But how can you succeed in business without brutal criticism of your thinking? But in our environment, you dare not criticize your boss or your leader privately or publicly, because that will be interpreted as an attempt to undermine. But business success, global business, doesn't work like that. You've got to be prepared to be criticized in a brutal way. And if I tell you the first review comment I received for that paper published in Journal International Business, you will cry. It was one reviewer's comment was 20 pages, telling me everything that was wrong. And then the editor said, I advise you not to go ahead to revise and resubmit the paper because it will be an unimaginable journey. So I read that review comment for about 4 or 5 times, and I was like, no, you will go for it. It was a brutal criticism. You've got to accept it. And I think for African businesses to be able to get to that global stage and participate in global trade, we've got to be prepared for brutal criticism. But I know our culture doesn't allow that. Right? So this study tries to answer this question. How do you take risk to innovate in an environment that does not accept failure? Is it real? Can we therefore innovate in Africa? So we study about 200 entrepreneurs in Ghana, and we find that to succeed in Africa as far as innovation is concerned, you just have to focus on the basic stuff. Focus on innovating on basic things. And I hope you can find time to read that paper. It's quite interesting. So then, in this study, we try to answer the question, what kind of innovations should we focus on in Africa? So we should focus on producing the iPhones in Africa? Should we focus on producing made in Ghana cars? Do you think we can? When we are so scared of failing? So what we found from Ghanaian entrepreneurs was that to succeed, you got to be frugal. That is, produce products that are economical for people. Products that are simple, cheap, and easily accessible. If you try to pursue high-value innovation in Africa, you are most likely to fail. And if you fail, you are most likely to end in jail. If you don't go to jail, the society will stigmatize you. So the last lesson is, how do you deal with risk-taking in an environment that is not tolerant to failure? We found from this last study that businesses that have endured major failures they have the capacity to channel that failure into innovative solutions. I wish this lecture would have allowed me to bring one of the people we talked to. He was devastated for his failure in the banking sector. The whole society, the media, everybody went after him. But that was supposed to be normal. To fail in research, innovation, and business was supposed to be normal. But in our society, no. But there's a lesson. Channel your failure into new innovative solutions. Because it's when we learn from our failure that we are able to succeed in our business journey. So a major lesson here, there's a research that says that, Prof, if you want to fail, fail fast. Don't delay in failing. Because when you fail fast, you will succeed fast. There's a logic in that, but I don't have too much time. But if you want to fail, yeah. If you want to fail, fail fast. Don't delay, because there's a cost in delay in failing. Don't pretend that you are doing well when you should fail fast. Bro, it shall be well. Yeah, so this study we did with 240 entrepreneurs. These are businesses that have failed. Really, really failed. 240 of them across Ghana. They have all failed. Otherwise, they folded after 5 years of operation. And you know what was happening to many of them? Some of them had to run to their villages to hide because their friends will laugh at them. GRA will go after them. But they don't have to do that because failure was supposed to be okay. So from my perspective, to fail is normal. Because I have failed many times. If I tell you the number of rejections that I've got in my research, you won't imagine it. So many of them. Sometimes you submit the paper, they say, nah, that is nonsense, this is rubbish. They use those words. This is rubbish. Who will care read about this? But after 2 decades in this trade, I came to learn that being rejected is normal. Failing first, second, third time is normal. But learn from your failure and channel that to future success. So, Prof, I know I've been talking about things that my colleagues will be wondering. What this thing you are talking about, quality research in business and management, where is it possible for that to happen in Africa? Where is the money? I just said government in Africa spend less than 1% on research and innovation. Even if you come to Ghana, it is really towards 0%. Where will you get the money to do this business of college academic research? So where this question comes to me, it's like a cycle. Quality research leads to higher value research grant. But before you get higher research grant, you must have quality research. So how does it work? But I think that through collaborations with researchers around the world, we can build a profile of high quality researchers, which can subsequently lead to our ability to attract high quality, high value research grants. And I will demonstrate that. So this lecture I'm giving today was based on award-winning insight paper. Prof, this paper, we worked on this paper whilst I was in KNUST. It was not when I was in Leeds. So what did we do? We tried to influence the thinking of academics in the field of international business, that there is something insightful that can happen in Africa. With that, we slowly were able to influence even American Marketing Association to accept the notion that Africans can do marketing. You think they would have believed that? America is the heart of marketing. They started it. And then you wrote a paper from Africa and say that, what? Marketing in Africa? But we try to influence them, spending sleepless nights to demonstrate that when you do marketing the way Africans do it, you can also become successful. And it was awarded a Tamakavuzge Award for Marketing, American Marketing Association Foundation. And so, Prof. Thank you so much for this recognition. Is it last year? Yes. So what I'm trying to tell our colleagues here and beyond is that we need to spend time to try to pursue quality in business and management research, because we have a duty to demonstrate that African businesses must and can succeed. And if they succeed, they can help change the narrative about Africa. And so, Prof, going forward, we have recognized that there is capacity problem. We can do it, but we have a capacity problem. And I think we need to work together to strengthen the capacity of African researchers such that they can do high-quality research that can publish in the best of places so that Africa can matter. That was what we tried to do in 2020 when we approached USAID for research grants, and we were lucky to be awarded this $50 million award, which enabled us to set up the Karoska Center at KNUST. And that has so far yielded 28 PhD scholarships. And most importantly, 17 of them graduated last month. I think some of them are sitting here. Yeah. So, Prof, this afternoon I was telling you something about entrepreneurship. Yeah? So, one of the questions that keep coming that really affect the place of Africa in global stage is the employability of our graduates. The question is, what is it that is happening that graduates from African universities can't get a job? And I know our policymakers, including myself and yourself, we think entrepreneurship is an answer, right? But then, with support from Ora Tambo Research Foundation and the National Research Foundation of South Africa, you want to answer the question. You want to provide you with empirical evidence, hard evidence to show that if indeed entrepreneurship is an answer to graduate employability. Because I just have that feeling that maybe we are just trying to shift responsibility to the graduates. That if you don't get a job, it's your problem. It's your fault, not the fault of the society. So, Prof. Chair, very soon I will give you a very nice report that will give you clear evidence about the logical link based on scientific evidence that connects entrepreneurship to graduate employability. So that when you pursue governments and the society that we should prioritize entrepreneurship education, you have hard evidence to support that. So that is what Ora Tambo is supporting us to do. I very soon said I'll give you a very good report on that. So these people, KNUS students, we have given 18 of them PhD scholarship award. And we want them to focus on one thing, to explain with different empirical setting and different theoretical arguments to what extent does entrepreneurship contribute to employment of graduates. So you can imagine 18 students debating that issue. Definitely, you will find an answer. So Prof, have patience for us. You come with the answer for you. So this is where I wanted to be a little bit controversial. So I want to offer a few policy recommendations. The first one is we need to prioritize quality research in higher education institutions to convert businesses to consume research from Africa. Currently, they don't take our research seriously, whether we like it or not. Business leaders don't trust us. And I think it's because of the low quality research that we give to them. What about this? Do we want to create a truly autonomous, research-intensive universities in Ghana? Prof. Obridanzo, you remember that? You once said that, I listened to you very well in one of your congregations. No, graduation ceremony. You said that we should convert University of Ghana, KNUST, and UCC to Ivy League University. And I'm hoping that one day that will happen. So this is another potentially controversial one. How do we make sure that we are able to fund major research initiatives in Africa? So let's come to Ghana. The current book and research allowance regime. Do we think that it can fund major research, groundbreaking research that would change the narrative about Africa? I think that, so here I'm trying to be nice. I think we need to complement the book and research allowance with research and innovation fund. That research and innovation fund should be dedicated to funding competitive, major, groundbreaking research on strategic priority areas of our country. And I think the South African National Research Foundation has shown the way. They have given us, KNUS, almost $1 million to research into the link between entrepreneurship and graduate unemployment. Can we do the same in Ghana? I think we should be thinking about doing that. And the last issue is the question of failure perception in our continent. We need to encourage our children to fail. It's uncomfortable, right? We need to encourage them to fail, because when they fail and we support them, they can do massively wonderful things that we can never imagine. So my junior students, brothers and sisters there, when you fail exam, don't go cry, just smile at that failure Just smile at that failure and keep trying. Huh? As I said, I have failed 1,000 times. In my research, many times, rejected. But each of those rejections, I learned where I was going wrong. And I returned a better person. And whether we like it or not, it is through failing that innovations occur. You think major innovation, do you know how many times Apple failed before they came with the Apple iPhone? You will imagine. You know how many times Microsoft failed? You know Steve Jobs was fired by his own company because he failed, and he was brought back. So when you fail exams, don't cry. So key takeaways, Prof. With your permission, to national policymakers, I think we need to prioritize investments in research and innovation. That less than 1% of our GDP committed to research and innovation is a problem. Just February 9 this year, the US government announced an investment of $52 billion for one thing: micro semiconductor research. $52 billion to one thing, because they want to be leaders in as far as semiconductor technology is concerned. Why can't we also begin to do something like that? So the other thing is, for African business leaders, you have an advantage that we don't see. If you are growing and operating in a difficult environment, I think you should turn that into an advantage. So for African businesses, a business in KJT trying to succeed in Ghana, you have a tough skin, such that if you go to operate in a place like US or UK, it should be easy, because you learn how to be tough. And for my academic colleagues, I don't know how you are going to take this, but please avoid the avoid this thing we always call, he has published hundreds of papers. Who cares about that? It's about the quality of your research. It doesn't matter how many papers. If you can nail one paper in a top journal, that is more important than you having 100 publications that nobody reads. But Prof, this requires a lot of humility, and it requires a lot of patience. There is no point rushing to publish a paper because you want a promotion. To me, no. I always tell Professor Bedu, I don't know whether he's here, that he's there. I always used to tell him, yeah, for me, I don't care if I retire with one top paper and I never became a professor. That's fine. But, you know, if you're able to nail one or two or three of those top research output, it gives you that recognition internationally. It gives you the opportunity to influence businesses and to put businesses on the map. And I think there is something important that we don't take seriously. The African business environment, our local communities, particularly in Ghana, is an environment that everybody admires. So I have this idea. Why can't you turn your local community to be a first choice of destination for any business that is trying to come to Ghana? Why can't you compete? Make sure that if you are living in this community, what is the name? Ayediase. Why can't businesses from around the world choose to locate at Ayediase? I think we can do it. It's simply the question of you thinking about how you can make your communities attractive to businesses. I don't think government can create jobs anyway, but I think businesses can create jobs together with local chiefs, together with local queens. And for my younger brothers and sisters, I just said it already. You've got to be happy to fail. But if you fail, please take responsibility for your failure. Don't shift the responsibility for your failure to the devil. It doesn't work that way. Take responsibility that it is your decisions that has made you fail. Reflect, smile at that failure, and move on to do something better. That's what I have done in my last 2 decades of academic life. Because I have the understanding that for every failure, it's a step to success. So, Prof. Chair, in conclusion, I would like to say that we need to be committed to identify unique, useful, interesting phenomena in Africa, but more importantly, commit ourselves to higher quality research about African research businesses so that we can put Africa on the map of international business and trade. So, let me show appreciation to some people who have played a variety of roles in my life. As I said, my family, my wife and children, they have been fantastic partners, and I think I'm a family of women. Everybody around me in my family is a woman. From my wife, my daughter, my stepmother, these people have shaped me in so many ways, and I need to be grateful to them. And for my former PhD supervisors, they were fantastic people. I don't know what I can say about them, but they were just life-changing friends. And to Archbishop Emeritus of Cape Coast, I would like to say something, probably if you give me a little bit of time, that do you know that as I was just saying, he gave you money to buy admission form to go to training college, and you never know how life-changing that was. But then there was another one. He is now the eminent Cardinal Texan. And some of my friends will remember how we were sacked from a program at St. Augustine's College in 1995. And then we went to protest in his house, that we had to come back to the school. And he said, "Who are these guys?" And he said, "But we have to go to school." And he just laughed. I will always remember his laugh, that just go back. I will talk to the people to accept you back. I think these are God-sent people in my life, and I think I must always be grateful to them. And then at KNUST, Prof. Chair, when I came here, I told you I was scared. I won't pretend about that. My wife was scared, Michelle was scared, because everything was different. But it was also exciting to be here. But then I have to show appreciation to Professor Obridanso, who always keeps telling me, "My brother, stop complaining and go to work." And the Pro-VC then, Professor Reverend Ansa, he's here. he used to tell me something that, I think you can make a good change at your college. Prof. And then Professor Abedu, my trouble friend, he has been so fantastic. Biologists who could advise me, somebody in business. But the good thing about that is that he has somebody who has nothing to do with your field of research, but can question your decision-making process. That brings a different perspective to how you think. And I think he has been fantastic, and I have to be grateful to him. So, Professor Annan, Professor Brimer, and my provost, Prof. Charles Marfo, are people who have always calmed me down and said, bro, it shall be well. So, Prof. So, my current former PhD students, undergraduate students, the inaugural tea committee, the Great Hall team, you have been fantastic to making this day a success. And for my friends, ABSU guys, ABSU. Mm-hmm. So, Prof. Chair, I think I would like to end here by saying thank you all, and may you stay blessed. Yeah, you can take it.
Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Nathaniel Boso's inaugural lecture has been delivered and was delivered on the topic International Businesses. Why care about Africa? Shall we please once again applaud him? So now that he is transitioning into the College of Professors, it is our tradition to take off the robe he is wearing and put on one that is significant. So I'll call on our ushers to bring. Now you will see the difference. So shall we have the robe? Okay, so I invite the Vice Chancellor, the Pro-Vice Chancellor, rep of the registrar, and then chair of the public lecture committee to help us with the robing. Congratulations, Professor Nathaniel Boso. Okay, so it's time to invite some distinguished personalities to congratulate our professor. And I will begin with our former Vice Chancellor, Professor Kwesi Ubri Danso, and of course, our former Pro-Vice Chancellor, Professor Charles Ansa. My Lord Bishop, please follow up to congratulate him. Nana Ediase Hene, please do us the honors to congratulate him. Next set of people to congratulate our professor is our College of Professors who have delivered their inaugural lectures. So shall we please welcome them? Now you understand why the gown is significant, what the colors. Now to a very important part of this program, I invite Professor's wife and daughter to present a bouquet and congratulate him. Thank you very much. When Prof was carrying out his research, these were the teaching assistants and research assistants. Okay, so family members of Professor, please come over and congratulate him on his feet. Family members. Thank you. Okay, so I next invite the College of Humanities and Social Sciences together with KNUST School of Business to do their presentation. Okay, so I'm told the big picture was designed by a security guy at a school of business called Derry. So Derry did this for him. Thank you very much, Professor Charles Marfo. Thank you very much. Dean, School of Business. So now the security services is into art, eh? Thank you. All right, thank you very much. Next to present is Cariska. That is the Center for Applied Research and Innovation in Supply Chain Africa, and of course, Prof is the director. So shall we please welcome them? Thank you, Cariska. We now invite OR Tambo Africa Research Chair Initiative to do their presentation. OR Tambo Africa Research Chair Initiative. And the last part to present is the group of former PhD students of Prof. So you are... All right, thank you very much. So we bring the session on presentations to an end. Thank you very much, Prof. You can take your seat. Congratulations once again. I would want to stand on the existing protocols and acknowledge the presence of some distinguished dignitaries who invited to the program. Of course, I will start by acknowledging the presence of Most Reverend Matthias Kobna Nketia, the Archbishop Emeritus of Cape Coast. Thank you for coming. And then to our Idia Sehene Nana Puku Ajimambewa Bonsamfo the third. Thank you. Mother of Professor Boso, Madam Helena Araba White. Thank you for coming, Mom. Of course, wife and daughter, brothers, sisters, and the family, Mr. Sefaseje Mensah, representative of MESTI, Dr. James Kofi Kuchuati for Deputy CEO of Cocoa Board, Mr. Divine W. Agbenyo Controller, WAEC Branch Kumasi, representing Ms. Wendy Andilamte, Head of National Office, WAEC Ghana. Thank you for coming. Headmaster, staff, and students of St. Augustine's College, Old Boys of St. Augustine's College 1994 year group. Are you here? Thank you. Headmaster and staff of Cape Coast AME Zion School, Cape Coast. Parish priests and members of St. Francis de Sales Cathedral, Cape Coast. Staff and students of Yasantua Senior High School. Staff and students of Kumasi Academy Senior High School. Staff and students of KNUST Senior High School. Staff and students of Kumasi Anglican Senior High School. And to all of you who joined online, members of the media, we thank you all for coming. Shall we please observe the following announcements? When the session comes to an end, invited guests and family members, please stay behind for special photo shoot with our speaker. The senior high schools, please board your buses. Everything you need to have is in the bus. Refreshment for KNUST students will be just at the foyer of the Great Hall, and refreshment for convocation at the Senior Staff Clubhouse. However, there is a special dinner at the School of Business Postgraduate Block for family, invited guests, and friends. It's a special dinner, so don't go there if you are not in the group of people I mentioned. Shall we please rise as I invite the Protestant chaplain to lead us in a closing prayer.
Please let us pray. Our Lord and our God, we remain grateful and thankful to you for your manifold blessings and goodness towards us as a university. We are so grateful to you for all that you continue to bestow on us as a community of learning and research and teaching. We thank you for today, and we bless your name for the success of this inaugural lecture. We give you all the glory for the life of our dear lecturer for today, Professor Boso, for his academic journey, and for your various provisions and endowments towards him that has made and brought him this far. We thank you for all the contributions he has made in various ways to business and marketing across the globe, especially in the field of research. And we are so grateful to you for the insight he has shared with us today concerning how, as Africans, insignificant as we have been perceived, we can still make a meaningful contribution to the global space when it comes to marketing and business. We pray, oh God, that this conversation that has started will be taken to higher levels to the glory of your name and to bring more blessings for us in our lives as we struggle with economics and all. We commend ourselves to you once again as an institution. Continue to bless us variously. And as we depart from here, may your blessing, your provision, your protection, and your covering be upon each and every one of us. May you take us to our various destinations safely. May your glory continue to rest upon us now and always. This and many more blessings we ask through Christ Jesus our Lord. Amen. Thank you.
Please stand by for the university anthem. Please remain standing for the reception of the Vice Chancellor and our Speaker. Family members of Professor Boso, please stay behind